We recognised automation as one of the strategies we could use to make our business more efficient, and that would then allow us to work on other elements of the business, such as the human resource side, to maximise the 5th Guild Government Agreement initiatives, things like Meds Check, Diabetes Meds Check, and clinical interventions. We also want to reduce dispensing times.
I had the 2 pharmacies in the town. We were really busy, and I just couldn't get the waiting times down, and I couldn't get the stress out of the dispensary, and I couldn't get the pharmacists out of the dispensary. So for generic reasons and ethical reasons, you know, I wanted the pharmacists out of the dispensary talking to the customers. I wanted the waiting times down, and it's done both of those things absolutely beautifully.
Well, this is the next paradigm shift. This is an opportunity where we go from doing something one way into doing it another way with benefits of saving time. And time is the only thing that you can't really replace.
It formed part of our strategy to make our business more sustainable in the future by developing new income revenue streams, and also reducing waiting times and just creating a better buzz around the pharmacy as well.
The Rowa, it just took my breath away. It was a Ferrari. Just to see it move, it was something so graceful, like watching a cheetah run over the plain. It was just magnificent to watch.
For us, we wanted something that also had a very strong stock inventory control system in it to help us make the back office more efficient, to make its contribution there. And so we were interested in chaotic machines. We chose the Rowa because we felt it would suit our needs better with respect to speed of dispensing and some of the more flexible other issues about it, which are a bit more flexible. It happened to be that the people at Rowa were able to offer us something a little bit better for our particular building site as well.
I have a Smart because it's a one size fits all, and my pharmacy fits that. It's got a 10,000 capacity, and I have 7,500 items in it at the moment, so that suits me. But other pharmacies that are bigger may need a VMAX, which it's built to the design of your pharmacy, built according to how big your dispensary is.
The reason I use the Rowa is because everything goes into it. Everything you could fit, you know, bottles into it, and you don't have to put them in another package. And you could fit every shaped box. I just looked at it, I thought, well, you know, that thing is just a great bit of kit, and it works.
When Guy was looking, first of all, at the Rowa, the concept of robotic dispensing appealed because I'd seen the Consus in action. So, and then we saw the Rowa, and that's just a whole other world again. The Rowa, because it knows every piece of stock that it's got in there, and it can account for everything in that way, and it's all barcoded in and barcoded out. Whereas, you know, we've had various problems with the other machine at times when we've had not the quite right level of trained staff filling the machine, and you know, putting stock in the wrong slots, and so when you're dispensing, you know, there's potentially more errors for that, those sorts of things. And still with I guess that machine as well, you've still got a drawer system which goes with it, so it's not completely getting rid of that sort of stock management issue. It means that any of your small stock holdings have to be in that drawer system, because the rest are all, you know, gravity fed shelving, and you can only fit so many lines into that. So whereas because the Rowa uses, you know, your codec logic, and it can basically, whether you're holding one box or whether you're holding 50 boxes, it can put all stock in there, so you've got a greater percentage of your entire dispensary is automated. The Rowa accounts for every piece of stock you've got, whereas certainly in the other system that accountability is not there to the same extent. It's much harder to do a stock take on those sorts of things, while the other system is good in terms of being first in, first out, because it's basically gravity fed shelving with a picking head on the end. I guess the Rowa's a bit smarter in that way, so if you put in a different expiry date for a product, it will pick that product first. The fact that, you know, you can go home at night and, you know, the Rowa's still there working, whether it's putting stock away or putting stock into more efficient locations so that you can get a faster feed. You know, sometimes you get a Panadeine Fort script where you've got 12 boxes to come out. You know, the Rowa will do it in, you know, 3 picking head motions, and it's all there. Whereas on the other system, you're looking at 12 picking head motions, and it just, you know, it just clogs up the system and it completely slows down. It's where the rate limiting point is, and so with the Rowa, the rate limiting point is no longer the product. It's how fast you can print out the next repeat that you've got to staple on. So whereas sometimes with the other system, it's still getting the stock is still the rate limiting step. So
the staff are very happy with the decision we've made, and 2.5 months on, I can say that they are very happy with the outcomes we've achieved, and they're very comfortable with their new style of operation.
I've got 4 pharmacists working for me. They've all done honours. 3 of them are ducks in the school. And I had this incredible exasperation of watching these really bright, wonderful kids spend their days hunting for stuff on the shelf. And I said to them, this is not what you went to university for. I spent years doing that, and it annoyed me. So now they're out doing meds checks and talking to the customers. And that's what you want to do. There's no point having these really intelligent kids going through this drudgery. And I found it very easy to retain good staff because they like the thing. It's a better job. It's very it's very attractive. It's very easy to attract professional staff because the drudgery isn't there.
It's more job satisfaction for the actual pharmacists themselves, and the customers love it because they're getting something out of it as well. So certainly, automation, robotics is, I think, the only way to go.
The install process, actually the technicians installing the robot, it did go very well. I'm not embellishing it at all by saying that compared to everything else in the refit, it was by far the easiest. So, in terms of, the broad refit process, actually getting the robot installed on time and getting it up and working and delivering its milestones at the times they were meant to be delivered was very easy. The Germans as well, not just the Australian team, but the German guys that flew out were very good.
The people that does innovations were very supportive of me on my journey, and they were very supportive all the way through, because in any change it's got to be managed. You can't instantaneously go out and buy a robot. You've got to see how it will fit and how it will benefit you in the end. I understand that I'm the only community pharmacy, and there's probably around 1,650 community pharmacies in New South Wales that has a Rowa, yes. That makes me proud. I know there will be a second, a third, a fourth, a 10th, a 100th, but it was good to be at the front.
It's been quite a focal point, because what I did was I put a camera in it so people could see what was going on in the machine and the big screen. So while you're waiting for scripts, people are watching this amazing contraption whizzing around, and that's actually attracted more customers, and customers like it because they know that it's accurate.
The most striking thing the Rowa has done for us since we've chosen to automate the dispensing process is it's given management a firmer footing on which to convince pharmacists that they have to change the way they operate. If pharmacists are used to dispensing and picking products, and you suddenly put a robot to pick them and a tech to dispense them, and you make it that the pharmacist does not do anything other than do clinical interventions and upsell products and refer to other professionals within the practice, pharmacy practice, then the pharmacist really has an easier time to do that. It assisted me in training the pharmacists and helping the pharmacists make that change.
Now we do 300 scripts a day approximately, so 300 times 1 is 300 minutes, is 5 hours of labour reduced by the Rowa.
The dispensing process is far more efficient because, well, for a start, there's the accuracy component. It's impossible to make a picking error. The machine we've bought stocks more than twice the amount of product in 2/3 the space. So if you look at rent or square metres in your business as a resource that has to be managed, then there's a huge efficiency there. And then of course there's a huge efficiency in putting stock away.
It's so much easier to do a stock take. So you're more inclined to do the stock take. It takes about 3/4 of an hour to 3 or 4 of your typing to just type it into Minfos and just correct the Minfos. Because the robot's more accurate than Minfos. It knows exactly what it's got. Well, it takes up less space than the dispensary did. It's 5 metres long, 2.5 metres wide, 3 metres high. But because the shelves go right down to the ground, and they're deep, and they're very closely packed, and they go up to 3 metres high, you can fit a hang of a lot more stuff in that same space. We actually ended up with more space in the dispensary, more room to move around, by quite a considerable margin than we had before.
In terms of the Rowa being a sound investment for me, I can say it definitely has.
I think it's very good value for money. It is the heart and soul of the business. You know, it is the heart of the business. It's the engine room.
If I was going now to purchase one or the other, it wouldn't. There's no decision to be made. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to buy older style technology that's not going to do as good a job, there's no benefit in that. I don't think.
The big two advantages for me purchasing the Rowa was, one, the speed and the saving 1 minute per prescription, 300 minutes, 5 hours. But the other big side of it was that it reduces the number of errors in the dispensing process. I call my machine a TARDIS. Now, Doctor Who's TARDIS was an acronym for time and relative dimensions in space. Now, TARDIS for me means technologically advanced robot dispensing incredible service.
For 30 years, people have been saying the pharmacy industry is changing and it's at a crossroads, you know. It's at a crossroads. I think it really is there this time. I really do. The facts are that as a result of price deflation and the ratcheting mechanism of weighted average price disclosure, the facts are that the average prescription dispensed will yield the average pharmacy $2 less gross profit per prescription by December 2015. There's going to be huge pressure on margins, and I think it's up to the pharmacists, pharmacy owners and the pharmacy employees to really work together to look at there's going to be a reliable revenue stream and a reliable environment in which we can provide our services.
The last year's been particularly difficult in retail for a number of reasons, and I believe that we've really got to go back to our roots, back to the dispensary, the provision of not only product but the provision of health care service to our customers. And I think that the Rowa it's a quantum leap in how it has made the dispensary more productive. By saving time, you can then invest that into the health care of your patients.